Hello everyone. So we have reached 4.3 Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Gabriel Verne. He was a French novelist, poet, and playwright. Verne wrote widely popular series of adventure novels, including Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1864, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 1870, and Around the World in 80 Days, 1873. Verne is generally considered a major literary author in France and most of Europe. Verne has been the second most translated author in the world. So it's a very nice story. It's an extract that has come here, but otherwise it's a whole book you can read. So there are some major characters and these minor characters. So major ones are Phileas Fogg. Then you have Passepartout. So this Passepartout is an assistant to Fogg. Okay, a very loyal assistant. And Auda. And there's a detective, named Fix. So these are the four major characters, and then there are many other characters here. Okay. So before I start reading this, I'll tell you in short what the story is about. So basically, the places, they start off at the Reform Club in England. Okay, so Phileas Fogg, Thomas Flanagan, Samuel Fallentin, and John Sullivan are sitting by a fireplace reading a newspaper and talking about a recent bank robbery. So कहीं पे एक bank robbery हुआ है, and then ये सब friends बैठ के they are just reading the newspaper and discussing about that robbery. Then during this, somewhere there's some discussions going on, and then Fogg says that I can travel around the world in 80 days. So I'm cutting some things, okay? It's like I'm just giving you a brief thing. So then all of them start laughing at him. Sullivan doesn't believe that it can be done. So then all of them accept the wager. It's a bet for 20,000 pounds. So Fogg has to go around the world in 80 days and come back. Okay. So if he comes back, he gets 20,000 pounds. Now, the main plot is based on Fogg's travels. Now, Fix is a detective who follows Fogg all over. So when Fogg leaves a place, there has been a bank robbery, correct? We read in the newspaper, they were reading about the bank robbery. So they think that, it is Fogg who has stolen the money and he is running away. So this detective also starts following him. He believes that Fogg is the bank robber. He puts obstacles in Fogg's path. So he is waiting for a warrant from England. Only then he can arrest him, no? They are not sure that Fogg only must have done it. So they have to wait. So till then, this Fix will try every way that this fellow will not be able to complete his travel. So he believes that Fogg is a bank robber. He puts obstacles in Fogg's path so that he can arrest him whenever he gets the warrant from England. Now the suspicion that Fogg might be a clever gentleman robber is a sub-theme of the book. So even there's a sub-theme. One main theme is there, and the sub-theme is that maybe, Fogg is the robber. So then that is proved later. Now, the fog's attendant, Passepartout, too wonders whether his master might be a robber, though in his heart he has ample trust. So he knows that no, Fog is very honest, he will not do, but still that doubt is there. Okay. Now Fog faces many obstacles as he goes through. Now he covers all these places. Brindisi, Suez, Bombay, which is now Mumbai, Calcutta, which is now Kolkata, then goes to Hong Kong, from there he goes to Yokohama, San Francisco, then New York, and finally he reaches Liverpool. This is where he began. Now when he reaches there, Fix what he does, he immediately arrests Fog, and this delays Fog a bit. Now Fog thinks, so they reach that place, so if you read the whole story, you will see how he traveled from one place to other, what are the obstacles and hurdles he had to face. Now Fog thinks that he has missed the deadline and hasn't reached London in time. So when he reaches London, it's already 80 days. 80 days are over. Okay, and then he says, oh God, means I couldn't reach on time, and he was asked to meet at a particular, the appointed time. Only then he would get those $20,000, 20,000 pounds, right? Underline this. Okay, so when he reaches there, and then he's very disappointed. He says, oh God, I've just missed the deadline. But he forgets that in reality he has reached a full day earlier, 1 day earlier, because he gained a day when crossing the international date line. So in geography, you know that when you cross the international date line, okay, so if it is Sunday on this side, when you cross onto that side also it is Sunday. Okay, that means, so he still has, like, he thought that from this Sunday to that side, when he went, it's already a Monday, but no, it was still a Sunday only there. So this, if you know the geography, that the international date line thing, then you will realize it. So you gain 1 day. So in the end, Fog wins a bet by going around the world in 80 days. So basically, this is the plot. Okay. Now, if as you read the extract, it's more about when he's already halfway. See, so Phileas Fogg, Aouda and Passepartout arrive in Liverpool. Then Fix will arrest Fogg. Phileas is thrown in jail. Fix learns that another man was actually responsible for the bank robbery, so he releases Fogg, who orders a special train. So now Fogg has been released, and then he arrives in London late, and all are disappointed. They feel bad, oh God, we have missed the deadline. Phileas and company are now broke. Broke means no money. Kadka. The deadline for the bet has passed. There is nothing to do but go home and pout. Means, feel sorry about it, that he couldn't come back on the appointed day and that time. Now Aouda is actually in the end she becomes like a girlfriend only, so they decide to get married, Aouda and Phileas. So they are so worried that they too can't eat or sleep. I mean, they're saying that they face so many obstacles and so many troubles to reach on time, but still they missed it. They missed the deadline. Fogg loves Aouda. He apologizes to Aouda for being unable to provide for her comfort as he has lost the bet. So he says, now we can't marry because I've lost the bet and I don't have money now. She proposes marriage to him, but still she is ready to marry him. So she proposes, and then he joyfully agrees. Now Passepartout runs to get a preacher. So he says that now we have anyway lost the bet and all, then now forget it. So he goes to get a preacher to get them married the next day. That, come on, the next day, which they think it is actually Monday. Okay, so they have reached that place on a particular Sunday, and they feel, come on, now we have to go and, so he's going to get the person to get these both married. Now he realizes that it is Sunday and not Monday. While traveling eastward around the world, Phileas Fogg, who was a master calculator and an obsessive organizer, a very good organizer, but even he had forgotten the time. He is gained by journeying through all those time zones. Different time zones mein you are traveling. So he forgot the time. And he didn't realize that when he crossed over the international date line, he had already gained a day, and that they are not at all late. Passepartout races home. So he runs. Suddenly he remembers. He said, "Oh, there's still one more day. We can definitely reach on time." So he rushes home. He grabs Phileas by the collar, literally drags him into the cab, and then drops him at the club. So Phileas reaches the club at the right time. So Phileas reaches on time and wins the bet. He is rich once more. He has also won the heart of a charming woman, who is Auda. Now here one more thing, there's a message in this story that no one can control time. Time will work the way it wants to work, and humans are at its mercy. We say, time and tide wait for no man. Okay. So there are 5 antagonists. Protagonist is the main character, who is Phileas Fogg, and there are 5 others, who are sitting and reading the newspaper and all. Now there are bankers. John Sullivan and Samuel Fallentin, they are bankers. Andrew Stewart is an engineer. Gauthier Ralph is a director of the Bank of England. Thomas Flanagan is a brewer. Brewer is the one who makes the drinks. Okay, so the major characters are Phileas Fogg, Passepartout, Auda, Detective X. So in the question, there will be 4 marks from this chapter. 1 or 2 will be mainly, 2 marks will be about the characters only. So they will give you odd man out. They will give you 3 from here and 1 from here. So you know who is the odd man out, okay? Or they will give you 3 from here and select 1 from here. So 3 major characters, 1 minor character, or 3 minor characters and 1 major character. See, I have written here 4 marks. Theme. The novel is full of adventure and excitement, which the readers come across and enjoy from the beginning to the end. Phileas Fogg, the major character in the novel, accepts the challenge to go around the world in 80 days. And in accomplishing this feat, he goes through various lands and meets with various diverse adventures. Thus, the novel proceeds at a fast pace, and there is always some excitement resulting from the various encounters. The beauty of the novel is that the writer takes the readers to a journey of many hair-raising incidents and exciting, adventurous, thrilling, yet beautiful places in the world. So as you read, you are going through various places. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of thrill, suspense. So you enjoy reading the book. The most important feature of this adventure novel is time. It illustrates repeatedly that time is fickle and works for or against them. In many cases, time foils their plans when the delays build up and ships and trains leave without them, that sometimes land the characters in trouble. So time foils their plan means it will spoil it. Foiling is spoiling. Because there's so much of delay that the ships leave, the train also leaves, without them. So they miss the ship or the train. In the end, Fogg wins a bet as he gained a day when crossing the international date line. And the ultimate message is that no one can control time. Time will work the way it wants to work, and humans are at its mercy. So you cannot control time. सबके पास उतना ही टाइम होता है, तो उस टाइम में आप क्या करोगे, that is in your hands. Okay, how you use it wisely. Time just keeps on ticking. Before his journey around the world, Fogg lived a solitary life. He closed himself off to others. Solitary life is alone without anybody. He closed himself off to others and cared little about the way he was perceived by other people. He was not bothered कि दूसरे उसके बारे में क्या सोचते हैं. By the end of the trip, though, he recognizes the importance of human connections. So by the time he finishes the trip and comes back, he realizes that how important it is to have human connections. Okay, लोगों के साथ मिलना जुलना बहुत, it's very important. Both in the form of love with Auda and a friendship and loyalty with Passepartout. So he starts loving this girl, and this person is his assistant and very good friend. Above all, this new understanding and appreciation is the greatest thing he has gained from this trip. A person who was solitary, now he is happy to have a girlfriend and a wonderful friend also. Though he has the opportunity to double his fortune, Fogg's motivation to embark on such a crazy adventure has little to do with the money. Instead, he wants to preserve his honor and prove his worth to the men of the Reform Club to show that he can do what he sets out to do. It's not only the money, it is basically he's so stubborn that if he has decided something, he will do it. So that's what he wants to prove to his friends. Fogg spends nearly all the money along the way, showing that riches are not what he is truly out for. For Phileas Fogg, honor is more important than money. Throughout the entire trip, Fogg and his group encounter various obstacles standing in their way. These challenges allow them to use their quick thinking to come up with innovative solutions to even the most complicated of problems. So कितने सारे problems आते हैं, challenges आते हैं on the way, but they come out with new solutions, innovative solutions, and solve them. Relaying that message that no problem is unsolvable. ऐसा कोई problem नहीं जो हम solve नहीं कर सकते. It is not only Fogg who shows his clever wit in coming up with solutions. Passepartout too shows his ingenuity in multiple situations. So now let's read the plot. Around the World in 80 Days begins at the Reform Club in England with Phileas Fogg, Thomas Flanagan, Samuel Fallentin and John Sullivan sitting by a fireplace reading newspapers. We are introduced to Fogg, a very precise man who regularly goes to the Reform Club every evening. At the Reform Club, Fogg, Flanagan, Fallentin and Sullivan are talking about a recent bank robbery. कहीं पे robbery हुआ है तो उसके बारे में हम लोग discuss कर रहे हैं. This conversation leads to a wager. It's a bet. Fogg is quite sure he can travel around the world in 80 days. So Fogg is saying that 80 days में तो पूरा हम लोग एक round मार के आ सकते हैं. While Sullivan doesn't believe it can be done. Sullivan, Flanagan and Fallentin think Fogg is not considering the unexpected. So not considering the unexpected means Fogg is definite that he can do it. Now, but so all of the they accept the wager for £20,000. So they say, okay, if you do it and come back, then we'll give you £20,000. You will. That's a bet. This is the beginning of the entire plot. And from then on, we see how Fogg goes around the world, and we witness the amazing adventures that he has with his companions. The main plot is based on Fogg's travels, while other such plots merely support the central theme. Fix, the detective, follows Fogg all over. He believes that Fogg is a bank robber who has robbed a great sum from the Bank of England. He puts obstacles in Fogg's path just so that he can arrest him whenever he gets a warrant from England. So Fix is a detective. Fix एक डिटेक्टिव है और वो राह देख रहा है कि कब उसको सो वो सोचता है कि फॉग ही है जो बैंक रॉबरी किया है. सो वो एरेंट का राह देख रहा है कि जैसे इंग्लैंड से अरेस्ट वारंट मिले तो इसको अरेस्ट कर सकते हैं फॉग को. इसलिए वो उसका पीछा करते करते जहां भी फॉग जा रहा है वो भी जाता है पीछे पीछे. The suspicion that Fogg might be a clever gentleman robber is the sub-theme of the book. And the author makes the reader also suspicious. Slowly हमको भी ऐसा लगता है कि हाँ शायद फॉग ने ही किया होगा. So Passepartout too wonders whether his master might be a robber. So जो असिस्टेंट है उसको भी फिर लगने लगता है कि शायद फॉग ने ही वो चोरी किया है, Okay. But कहीं ना कहीं उसको दिल में he knows in his heart that he has trust in Fogg's integrity. But still there is a suspicion, a doubt. The plot moves ahead, with Fogg striving through various obstacles to reach London in time. He goes through Brindisi, Suez, Bombay, which is now Mumbai, Calcutta, which is now Kolkata, Hong Kong, Yokohama, San Francisco, New York, and finally Liverpool. एक पूरा world का वो round मारता है. See, he's covering from Bombay, then he goes to Calcutta, then so that we'll read in the novel. I think it's there. He thinks that he has missed the deadline and hasn't reached London in time, when in reality he reached a full day earlier. Thus, Fogg wins the wager and in the course of his travels finds himself a worthy, charming, beautiful wife too. So, he found Auda. Now comes a synopsis of the extract. As soon as Fogg, synopsis is like a small summary, okay? As soon as Fogg, Auda and Passepartout arrive in Liverpool, Fix arrests Fogg. Then Phyllis is thrown in jail. Several hours later, though Fix learns that another man was responsible for the bank robbery, he releases Fogg. So the moment Fogg is released, he immediately orders a special train. And then he reaches London. But all are sad because he has reached late. Phyllis and company are now broke, means no money. The deadline for the bet has passed. And there is nothing to do but go home and pout, means feeling sad about it. So Phyllis locks himself in the room and for the first time allows himself to be seriously depressed. So Phyllis gets depressed. And when Auda and Passepartout see that, they also feel very worried. So even they can't sleep or eat or sleep. The following evening, Fogg apologizes to Auda for being unable to provide for her comfort as a result of losing the bet. He says, I'm sorry, now I've lost the bet, so I cannot give you anything now. She in turn proposes marriage to him, and he joyfully agrees. Passepartout is sent to engage a clergyman. He runs off to get a reverend. Means, the father, jo Christians, in the church you have those fathers there. A reverend to marry Fogg and Auda the next day, which they all think it's Monday. So they feel that they have reached on Sunday and next day is Monday. So they will get, and he was supposed to reach London at the Reform Club on Sunday. But so they feel that okay, chalo, now anyway we did not reach. So next day to Monday hai, to Monday ko they will get married. But while running to grab the preacher to marry these two, Passepartout suddenly he realizes that no, it's actually Sunday, not Monday, like the group has been thinking. Means by traveling eastward around the world. Phyllis Fogg, master calculator and obsessive organizer, has forgotten the time he's gained by journeying through all those time zones. So actually they reached on Saturday, but they think it is Sunday. Okay. He learns that their journey through the time zones had gained them a day and that they are not at all late. Passepartout races home, grabs Phyllis by the collar, shoves him into a cab and deposits him at the club. Phyllis presents himself with minutes to spare and effectively wins the bet. A few minutes before the time, is going to finish, Phyllis reaches the club. He's rich once more. But more important, he has won the heart of a charming woman. So this is the first part. Okay, in part 2, I'll read out the lesson for you all. Bye.